What's up guys? In this video, I am spilling all of the tea. I'm breaking down what I spend per month and what that says about me as a person, so we can all judge me. But you might also be wondering, Queenie, why do you even track your expenses in the first place? I'm glad you asked. So I've been tracking my expenses for years and I really enjoy the process because I think it can tell me a lot about what I'm going through each month based on the way that I'm spending my money. I'm currently reading this amazing book called Your Money or Your Life. And there was this really amazing insight in this book that just blew my mind. And that is, our money is actually our life's energy. If you don't know, now you know. So if I'm going to be spending my life's energy on things, I want to make sure that I'm actually spending money on things that I really value and things that I really need. I work hard for my money and I've spent hours that I would never be able to get back. So I want to make sure that I'm actually spending money on the things that I really need and the things that are important to me. The second reason is I think that we can learn a lot about ourselves based on the spending that we do. Are we actually happy with the way that we spend our money and the person that we are? Is there something that we would like to change? We never know until we actually go through our past expenses and dig into those numbers. And if we don't like what we see from our expenses, the good news is we can always change that behavior. So we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves because everybody makes mistakes from time to time. And the final reason is I think that knowing ourselves is so important because this can help us practice self-compassion and self-love. I love going through my past expenses because it shows me the person that I am and also what I can do better in the future. I am by no means a saving money expert or guru. I'm just a regular person who really enjoys the process of having a look at my past expenses and trying to do better every day. Because after all, we can only really compare ourselves to the person that we were yesterday. And I would love to hear from you guys. Do you track your expenses? And what have you learned about yourself from tracking your expenses? Let me know down in the comments below. While you ponder this question, please make sure you turn that button blue and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos about investing and personal finance. So now let's jump into the real reason why you clicked on this video. Let's get into my expenses from the past 2 months. Ta-da! So these are my personal expenses for February. And in February, I spent a total of, drumroll, $1,713. I also wanted to mention that these are just my personal expenses and not my business expenses. So the purchases that I make for this YouTube channel aren't included in these expenses because I do track them separately. These are just my personal expenses. So let's break it down. Was that lame? I'm sorry. So as you can see, in February, my biggest expense was my mortgage and my strata. I spent $1,000 on my mortgage and also my strata bills, which makes up 60% of my expenses. The next biggest expense was my council fees, and I spent $180 on my council fees. These council fees don't come in every single month, but they just happen to land in February. My next biggest expense was public transport, and I spent $105. So far, so good. My top 3 expenses are things that I really needed to spend money on in order to live my life. My next biggest expense, where I spent $85, was actually flights. So as you guys know, during the long weekend in March, I actually went to the Gold Coast and I booked my flights through Qantas points that I had. So I only really needed to pay for the airline taxes for these flights. So that's another way that I do try to save money. So by using the points that I get from my credit cards in order to redeem it for cheaper flights, that's how I do like to save money on my travel. And if you would like to check out the Qantas frequent flyer credit card that I currently use to get points on my purchases, you can also check out the link in my description below. But do be careful because credit cards can be a really slippery slope if you don't pay off the full amount of your credit card on time each month. So the next biggest expense that I made was actually going to a psychologist, and this cost me $69 and made up 4% of my total expenses for the month. I think that it's so important to spend money on our health and also on our mental health as well. Honestly, in February, I was feeling really overwhelmed and one of my friends recommended me to this psychologist. So I did a Zoom call with the psychologist and it just really helped me open up and also get a lot of things off my chest. So if you're also in a similar situation and you are looking for somebody to talk to, I think it's so important to spend money on these things and there's absolutely no shame in it. My next expense is eating out with friends. So I actually went out for lunch with Brandon from New Money. It was so lovely meeting meeting Brandon in person, and he's honestly just such a lovely guy. My next biggest expense was the gym, where I spent $30. I go to a pretty expensive gym, but I did pause my membership because I wasn't going to be needing it for the full month. So that's why it's a lot cheaper this month, and I only spent $30 on it. So my next expense is petrol, where I spent $30, and this made up 1.8%. And the two smallest expenses was going to the chemist to get some painkillers and also spending a little bit of money on groceries. So the reason why I didn't actually spend that much money on groceries this month is because I actually buy Woolworths gift cards in $500 chunks. So whenever I run out of credit on my gift card, I actually go and I purchase a Woolworths gift card from my insurance company, and I save $25 per $500 gift card. So that's the reason why groceries is just such a tiny amount. I usually shop at Woolworths, but for these two expenses, I went to Aldi and Coles. And of course, the Woolworths gift card didn't work for Aldi or Coles. But as you'll see in the next month, you will see that I did spend quite a lot of money on groceries, and that was because I do purchase those $500 grocery gift cards. And then of course, split that $475 cost with my boyfriend. So from looking at my expenses from February, I'm really happy with the expenses that I did make, and I can happily say that I did spend my money wisely and where my values were. I did spend a little bit of money eating out with my friends, but I prefer spending money and time with people that I really care about and going out for lunch or dinner with them, rather than going to a takeaway shop and buying convenience food because I'm too lazy to cook. So now we know the expenses from February, let's have a look at the expenses for March and see if I was just as good in March as I was in February. Spoiler alert, I actually did spend a lot more money in March. So my total expenses for March came down to $2,896, which is $1,183 more than I spent in the previous month. So why did I spend so much more money in March? Let's break down these numbers. Break it down. Oh, it's so lame, I'm sorry. So just like in February, my biggest expense for March was my mortgage and strata at $1,000, or 34.5% of my total expenses for the month. And my next biggest expense, which is an expense that I don't make every month, and that was a new bed frame and a new mattress for $625. So we used to sleep in this double bed that we bought on Gumtree. And yes, it was really awkward sleeping on a double bed with somebody else because double beds are pretty small. They're really spacious if you're just one person, but if you're a couple, they're really small. So that's the reason why we decided to buy a new bed frame and a new mattress, and we actually got this massive king bed. It has lots of storage and it's just huge in our room. It takes up so much space, but I'm so happy because now I can just like spread out on the bed and I don't even touch him, which is just ideal because there's just so much more space. So I'm really happy that I did make this purchase, even though it was expensive. So my next biggest expense was groceries. And this was 10.7% of my expenses, or $311. So as you guys know, I go into Suncorp Benefits and I purchase $500 Woolworths gift cards and split this cost with my boyfriend. But the great thing is we don't have to purchase these $500 cards each month. So we didn't purchase it in February, but of course we needed to purchase it again in March because we ran out of credit on our last gift card. And the next biggest expense was sheets for my new bed at $292, or 10.1% of my expenses. So we went and we purchased some new sheets and they are honestly amazing. We've got bamboo sheets now and I don't know, they just feel a lot softer and really nice. I'm just so happy because if my 17-year-old self could see me now with a nice big bed and new sheets, I think that she would be so proud of me. So yeah, I'm really happy that I did spend a little bit of money on this bed because my sleep is so much better now. I have a really nice bed, some new sheets, and a really good mattress. So yeah, it was definitely worth the money. So my next expense was the gym at $180, or 6.2%. Have you guys noticed that I'm looking a lot bigger and stronger and more intimidating? I know, I actually scare myself in the mirror sometimes with how big I'm getting, but in all seriousness, I'm really happy that I am spending money on my health and my fitness because not only does it bring me so much happiness, fitness, but it's also good for my health as well, which will also help me save money in the long term because I am exercising and keeping up with my fitness. I think that they'll probably give me a lot less issues later on in life. So yeah, it's an expensive gym membership, but definitely money well spent because I am using it. So my next biggest expense was public transport at 5.1%, or $148. And my next biggest expense was going out with friends to eat, where I spent $95 or 3.3%. So this was the month that one of my good friends, Tash Invests from Instagram or TikTok, she has amazing content on those platforms, she actually came to Sydney. So I spent a lot of time going out with her to eat and go to different restaurants and also get ice cream and things like that. So yeah, it was definitely money well spent because I really enjoyed taking her around Sydney and, you know, just having fun with her. My next biggest expense is health insurance at 2.8%, or $82. And this health insurance is pretty good because I got a pretty low health insurance plan, which gives me dental and physio. I didn't actually know this until recently, but did you know that if you're paying over $90,000, you will actually get an extra Medicare levy surcharge? And this Medicare levy surcharge only applies if you don't have private health insurance. So that's the reason why I decided to get private health insurance, so I didn't have to pay the Medicare levy surcharge, and I could also get some extra benefits from my health insurance and save money at the same time. So I get to go to the dentist a couple of times per year for free using my private health insurance, and also go to the physio and things like that. So if you are earning over $90,000, it's definitely worth checking out private health insurance. So my next biggest expense was Airbnb, where I spent $87.05. My next biggest expense was Uber, where I spent $23.60, or 0.8% of my expenses. So those are my expenses from the past 2 months, and I'm pretty happy with my expenses because I am spending money where my values are, which is trying to be frugal and thrifty wherever possible. For example, doing things like taking the train to work instead of driving to work, and also trying to spend more money on buying groceries rather than eating out, because I can save more money by cooking my meals at home than I can by eating out. And as you can see as well, I am happy to spend money on things like my health. Like, I have an expensive gym membership, but I use it, so it's worth it to me. And also getting psychology sessions from time to time to help with my mental health. And I'm also really happy to spend money on friends and family that are really important to me. And I'm always happy to shout my friends and my family lunch or coffee, because that's personally something that means a lot to me. And it's something that I do like to do for people I care about. And I would love to hear from you guys. How do you guys currently spend your money? What do you like spending money on? Let me know down in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos about investing and personal finance. I'll see you in the next video. Bye! And if you'd like to see some more videos, I've got some links to some videos here, so click on the links and click through to another video.